Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they're live, and there's also a PayPal link in the info box below the video once it's rendered. But most importantly, if you would like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the discussion and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel. So please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now we are joined by Mark Doxey, Arwin and Ranty Flat Earth. How are you all doing?
Hello everybody.
Hello. Doing good.
Good. Any signs of curvature? Hello? Hello? Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, you're just playing with me. I know you are. I've already done sound checks. I know you can hear me.
It was the ending of my video. It's what you said.
So, should we do some housekeeping?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Any signs of curvature?
0.
No, from the resident curve hunter known as Mark Doxey. No curvature to be found. Any signs of axial rotation?
Nope. In regards to the Earth?
Specifically in regards to the Earth, Ranty, yes.
If it's in regards to the Earth, then no.
Oh, that's a shame. What about a pressurized system next to a vacuum?
Absolutely not.
How you doing, Travis?
Hey.
Hello, Plain Truth.
What about a What about a self-perpetuating molten iron core? Anybody demonstrate any evidence of that?
Yeah, I think it's called the rumpus.
The rumpus theorem.
No, but I've never heard rumpus mentioned in regards to molten iron core. What's the deal there?
He doesn't get a chance, does he?
No, he is like a...
He personifies it.
Oh,
Yes,
I
exactly.
see. Now, again, Ranty, it's in reference specifically to a molten iron core that self-perpetuates inside a presupposed sphere of Earth.
No.
I would rather compare him to a mercury molten core. Because
Is
he's
this gonna
very
become-
Mercurial.
he's toxic and slippery.
What's all this talk about rumpus? He's become
A
part of
dyspeptic
housekeeping.
gargoyle.
Any signs of rumpus?
And he said, no, he's
Thank God,
disappeared.
no, not now at least.
Well, he's been
My
promising
ears
the world
listening.
for ages, not delivering.
My eardrums have recovered, I think.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Be part of housekeeping now.
No, but gravity is. Any signs of that?
Nope, no signs of masses being attracted to other masses, nor the bending of space-time.
Oh,
Well, the
I was
whole-
Well,
hoping-
why else am I not flying off into space right now?
Because the
there is
bending
no
of space
space.
time, my friend. But we just have to accept that.
No. It's basically it's the previous housekeeping question. The pressurized system next to a vacuum. That's why you're not flying off into space.
Oh, I
Because-
see.
Can't be there.
It's
Oh,
pressing
saw
on
an
the walls
apple
of the
fall, though.
container of nothingness, and that's keeping us on the ground, right?
Sorry?
It's pressing against, i.e. the gradient pressurized system next to a vacuum is pressing on nothing to press down on us. Is that right?
That's what they say.
Very interesting.
Are you back in your cab, Travis?
No, I'm actually headed to the beach right now to take some photos. There's some islands. It's been very cloudy this week, and so I haven't had any good mornings, so I'm trying again.
Jolly good. Keep us posted.
Let us know if you find any signs of radius, otherwise known as R. Any signs of that, gentlemen?
No.
No.
Seen plenty of rain though. In the last 2 days. In fact,
Rain?
they'd put us that they were going to have a hose pipe ban this weekend, and they've called it off now. We've had that much rain.
Oh, well, that's nice to know.
Hey Nathan, you said it wrong. There are signs of a radius, but there's no proof of it.
Right. What?
Signs in
that...
the sky. The globe of the heavens is turning.
Oh, right. Look out into the
sign.
distance. Look out into the distance and ignore perspective, or look up at the sky and ignore the ground you're standing on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that
It
makes
just
perfect
sticks in the
sense.
ground, remember?
Yeah, I'm talking about, you know, what is it they say that backs them? Oh, yeah, science. Maybe some scientific evidence. That would be
Yes,
better.
exactly. Nope.
Well, that concludes housekeeping.
It does.
No
you
signs of
said
curvy
science.
globe Earth ever. One day, one day.
I thought you said signs, not science.
Well, any science would be what they profess to having. So, you know, any signs of the science, you could say. Yeah, I mean, we want to hear the fallacious stuff that they actually present. So signs is probably the better word, because they want to come along and say, well, this is a sign. Just look out into the distance at the apparent horizon and ignore perspective and then pretend it's curvature. And then look, all this maths works. Amazing. Proof. And you go, yeah, that's garbage. But thanks.
Maybe they're just gonna respell the word into signs. It's like, yeah, it was original after all.
Well, they've metaphorically done that. I mean, we are guilty of it. I am guilty of it. All day long, we will call things experiments and science and, you know, Dilly Gill. Big shout out to Dilly Gill. I love Dilly Gill's videos. He released a new one yesterday about a freedom of information disclosure that he's requested. So he's approaching NASA saying, give us all of the reels of film for X footage. X mission, sorry. One of them's STS-3, I believe, just so you've got something to reference in his most recent video. But he's making these freedom of information requests, and at the same time he's explaining to the audience that he wants them because what NASA are doing when they're putting on a spacesuit and filming it is science. And he's wrong. You know, we're just guilty of using the terminology we've been brainwashed to understand. We're taught at school science proves things, then simultaneously philosophers come along and say you can't prove anything with science, while they hijack the term and say that they have proof of things based on scientific evidence. And it's never scientific evidence. It's just people like Neil deGrasse Tyson, pseudoscience astronomers, and various other incarnations of this pseudoscience bullshit, saying that they are scientists and saying that what they say is real, and it's not. You know, it's not science. But, you know, I've jumped down Ranty's neck literally yesterday over this when he's like, I'm going to go out and do some experiments with my new P1000. I'm like, they're not experiments. They're just observations. They're just tests. You can call them tests if you like, you know, but they're definitely not science. But that's how we've been hoodwinked. You know, they tell us that they've scientifically validated a planet, and then you look into it and go, well, no, all they've done is they've watched a light twinkle. That's it. You know, that's nothing. It's not scientific in the slightest. But twinkle, twinkle, little star is the standard of evidence we get from people like the pseudoscience astrophysicists. That's what they give us, pseudoscience, not science. So, anyway, that's my rant over.
No, it's not. No, it's not. We want you to clarify something there,
All right.
Nathan.
Go on.
Water boils at 100 degrees centigrade at sea level.
Right.
Where's the science in that?
Well,
Or has science come to that conclusion?
You can formulate a scientific hypothesis and experiment with that hypothesis to validate or invalidate it. It's like any science. So, to validate your hypothesis, you just experiment and see if you're right or not. And the whole point of a hypothesis, being a scientific prediction, is you have both results covered. Either you confirm it or you nullify it. That's the whole point of doing it and formulating scientific hypotheses in those ways, so that you have a distinct result at the end. You either confirm or invalidate your hypothesis. One or other are going to be correct. The alternative or the null will stand at the end of an experiment. You know, and the whole point, or the whole, when people say things need to be falsifiable, have you gone and repeated this observation? It's like that's not valid. One observation is plenty because you're not performing science. Repeated and systematic experimentation is what validates or invalidates a hypothesis. water boil and can be easily experimentally validated. Anyway.
Hey, I put in the Hangout chat the 2 photos that I had of the moon the past 2 days, and would be interested in your guys' thoughts on the termination line, the difference between the two. It's about an hour and a half difference in time, like about 4:30 and then 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, in about 22 hours, you've got a considerable difference in the termination line.
Right. It's almost as if it's rotating, you know, from 12:30 till 2:30. And that just doesn't seem, because the sun's not moving, and the moon's not changing angle, and yet you've got that difference in the termination line.
We don't observe that where we are, fellas.
Yeah, I didn't understand what you mean by that. Why can't you? If you just
It's not that dramatic. I
Look
mean,
at
you've
the moon.
obviously,
Well-
it's obviously you've recorded something there that looks like it's changed within sort of 20 degrees or even more than that. We're not.
Isn't the Earth also be supposed to turn underneath it and everything, making it all work out? I thought that early on we concluded that the whole moon phases and the position of the sun, that seems to be pretty pegged, pretty well figured out.
I don't
Did you see
follow you, Arwen.
Did you see the photographs, Arwen?
It's the one,
Can someone present them?
right?
Can someone bring
They're
up their
they're
screen
in the
share?
Hangout chat right now. I just put them in the Hangout chat right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, rotating is one thing, but we would have to be vacillating in terms of going through a trough and heading up a crest somehow to change the angle that we see. Because if we're rotating, the moon's going to be in the same position, we're going to be in the same position, we're just turning. That's not going to change the termination line.
It's very hard to put into context without like a full 360 view of where the sun is and everything. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the first one, obviously, the sun is not up. And the second one, the sun, it was about this time 2 days ago. So the sun is still where I was, at least. I was in the foothills in California, so I had some hills blocking the sun's ingress, but it had not risen, so to speak, where I was. So, but you can see the sky was lightening.
And what if
Yeah.
you present it? Because no one, we're talking about it, but no one's actually seeing it.
Well, I put it in the chat. That's all I can do. I'm on my phone, I guess.
I'll do it again. Bunch of
No,
phone
I've got it up. I've got it up, gentlemen.
Ah,
Can you see that?
you're all a bunch of phonies.
Yeah, you go. Yes, it's up.
So the top image was 23 hours before the lower image, and the top image you've got sort of 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock termination, and
Right.
then within 24 hours you've got maybe 1/4 to 1/4 or maybe 10 past to 22.
Yeah, so I was,
And that
I was awake at 6 o'clock the first day, and then I got woken up early by coyotes the next day, and I was up, so I thought I would shoot the moon. That's what I got.
rather than the coyotes.
Yeah.
We would never get anything as dramatic as that where we are. But if the sun is infinitely at an infinite distance from us, 93 million miles plus or minus, I don't see how you could get that unless the sun was local.
Right, sure. But even still, the bottom photo, and that's what I've made the point of in a couple of my videos, is the sun, the lower photo would require a light source higher above in order to get that termination line. But that's not the case, because the moon at that point in the morning was probably at about 50 to 60 degrees, and the sun wasn't even in the sky yet, so it was lower. There's no way to get that kind of termination line from a light source that's below you. The termination line would be completely reversed from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock.
Oh yeah, now I see what you mean. Yeah, that is kind of odd.
And the light, according to the heliocentric system, is that it's all parallel.
Yeah, it's still a little bit soupy out here this morning. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get any good shots of the islands.
Silence.
I'm just contemplating. Like, I wonder. Like, has it always been like that, the moon? Or is it just because we're paying a lot of attention now?
Right.
Notice.
Right.
Because who knows? Maybe there has been some kind of tampering with the whole system, with the heavenly body system, like shifting sun heat temperature settings seem to be different than before, like very weirdly different. And maybe that will have some visual side effects. Like suddenly the moon shadow is suddenly not being out of whack with the heliocentric concept. Who knows? I don't know. Just wildly speculating here.
What happened then?
One of the other things
Pardon?
Hey Anthony, how you doing?
All is good. Am I on now, or are we waiting?
No, you're on now. Hey Jimmy, how you doing?
I'm pretty cool, yourself?
Very well, very well.
Good to hear, good to hear.
I don't have a lot of time because I'm in the car, so I'll be in and out of signal, so I'll be coming and going, so I'll just be brief and then I'll step out.
Okay.
I've been speaking with Bob from Globebusters about the fiber optic gyroscope issue, and basically he's agreed to do a hangout with me to address the point that what the contentious point about these fiber optic gyros that Chris accepted. I invited Chris to join us to have the hangout, so that there would be a very narrow on exactly what the issue is, what evidence he accepts, what the counter to it is, based on what evidence for the counter. So we would have had Chris presenting his view, and then we would have had Bob presenting the counter with the evidence that goes against Chris's view. But unfortunately, Chris has politely declined to have the hangout. So it's going to be myself and Bob specifically dealing with the point that Chris accepts. Absence of Chris to explain and to justify his position, really, which is a real shame. But nonetheless, it's going to happen because it does need to happen. People need to see what the reason is that Chris left, and they need to understand the reason why. And ultimately, we are going to get to find out. But Chris doesn't want to do the actual hangout, which I'm sad to say, but he has had the invite and he's politely declined it, which make of that what you will. So it'll be in the next couple of days, so make sure you keep your eyes open for that one.
I already tried that myself, and he doesn't want to come on anymore. Anything.
So obviously Bob disagrees with Chris then.
Say again?
Bob disagrees with Chris then.
Yeah, of course. As far as I understand it, Bob, well, everybody in FE Core disagreed apart from Chris and Tesla's Apple. And based on what Tesla's Apple and Chris, based on their views, it sparked a chain reaction. And it was contentious enough for it to dissolve or, stop. But regardless of the politics of what went on within FE Core, the issue is serious enough and strong enough to be able to have people falling out with each other. So obviously, something that serious or that strong, we want to know. We need to know about it. We want to know about it, and people are asking the question. And it's right that we get to know the answers, because if the Earth is indeed spinning, and Chris accepts it, then we want to know why. What is that evidence? And it's right that Bob addresses this, because everybody wants to know. So it is the hot topic at the moment. But for whatever reason, Chris doesn't want to engage in it. He doesn't want the back and forth. But I would think it's the perfect opportunity for somebody to go back to the board to explain the evidence from their perspective, so that everyone's at least aware of his position. And because I want to know, we all want to know.
Riley, can you stop stuttering, please?
He's breaking up.
Say that again.
You're breaking up a bit.
Stuttering.
No, it's breaking up.
No, we got 90% of it, 99% of it.
Anyway, yeah, I'd love to get deeper into this stuff. I have my own views, although they're relatively superficial, about the whole gyroscope thing. It's okay.
Yeah, bye, Anthony. I think he's figured out that he's lost his signal.
Was he great?
Or he dropped his mic into a cup of water or something.
Toilet.
Oh yeah, he flushed it down the toilet in an anger fit. Anyway, yeah, I want to know more about this gyro thing, and from what I saw, from what Chris Monk showed me, my first very intuitive observation was that it's a fix, just like the Foucault pendulum, that this guy was basically just twirling around with that floating gyroscope thing, and he never left it as it was. He never just put it there and just left it to do whatever it was going to do. And I don't know, maybe there is some reason why it was slightly spinning, but I would rather put it to something like vibration or something. Like, it is a motor, it is going to have some kind of effect, the electrical side effect on the water or whatever, slight vibration. I don't know, it just didn't seem consistently like moving. It seemed to be more like a swing. How do you say it? Yeah, like a yo-yo. It's just turning one way, then slowing down, then turning the other way, and no consistent pattern at all. And he was fiddling with it constantly. So yeah, I definitely don't think it proves, from what I've seen, from what Chris has shown me, that the Earth is spinning according to this experiment.
He obviously feels very strongly about it to disassociate himself from the Flat Earth core, and would appear to lose friendship with a close friend.
No.
If he felt strongly about it, he would come on and discuss it with us.
I don't think it's the real reason why he's doing that. I think he's looking for he's basically using it as an excuse to break away, because there's other reasons. His entire attitude, even as I addressed him from a friendship angle, because he has helped me a great deal, like with the CGI and everything, and I really appreciate him for that. But just he seemed very closed off and politicized. He had like giant text responses. It just seemed very unlike him. It's like he was distancing himself subtly. So I think that the gyroscope thing is just an excuse for him, basically, to step out.
But therefore, there must be a reason for him to do that, though.
There could be plenty of reasons. He has a business. He has connections. It could be that some of his colleagues, or how do you say, like one of the guy that, like George, somebody in his circles, like George, came up to him and said, like, yeah, I just noticed you got into Flat Earth. If you don't stop it now, I'm going to ruin your business. that could have happened, and he has a lot to lose.
Or he's found the truth and he's realised that the Earth's rotating.
No, Jimmy.
Why not? Why not?
Because that's stupid.
But that's what his actual words state.
No, don't be a dumbass. Okay,
Why?
so that's an unreasonable request because you are a dumbass.
That's not very nice, Arwin. I've always been nice to you.
It's true, though.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
More based on an opinion than truth. But,
No, you're a dumbass, and you've given us plenty of proof that you are really.
That's not very nice, Arwin.
Yeah, but it's
I'm
true.
only basing it on the words that he's given on his Facebook thing, where he stated the Earth's rotating. You know, there might be an alternative reason for him to step away, but his reason he's given is he's found the Earth is rotating.
No, it's a flimsy proof, very flimsy, and the proof that he even brought forward for me to look at was it was ridiculous. It was below par for him, for a man like him. He's too smart to actually take that evidence that he put towards me. He would normally never accept that. It's ridiculous. It's an excuse. He's using an excuse to just get out.
So,
to me, it's very obvious.
The man using techniques to find the Earth's rotation finds the Earth's rotation and therefore goes against his belief system.
Sorry, he's not
It's a
using
flimsy
techniques to
proof.
find... Hold on, Owen, I just want to address that. He's modelling
Okay.
stuff. Did you hear that? He's modelling stuff. He's not finding Earth rotation.
He's using a device that finds the Earth's
No,
rotation.
he's using a computer to model stuff. We don't live in a model. He's not seeking out Earth rotation in a computer. We don't live in a computer. Just to correct you on that.
But he is using a device that potentially measures the Earth's rotation.
No, he doesn't.
Really?
Sorry. Oh, hold on, Arwin. What part of the Earth is not a computer don't you understand?
All of it?
Right. Let me break it down for you. Earth is the thing we live on. A computer is not the thing we live on. Therefore, the Earth is not a computer. So when you do simulations of things inside a computer, you're not proving anything. It's not scientifically valid. It's just a model. Okay? So he has no device for measuring Earth curve. Yeah? He's got a graphics card and a PC. That's what he's got. Okay?
Yeah.
What's this gyro you use then?
Sorry,
It's not something
hold on.
he actually
Gyros,
did.
hold on, Arwin. Gyros again. They do not prove that the Earth spins. Equally, they do not prove that the rotation is caused by ether, right? It's an affirming the consequent. It's a formal logical fallacy. For all those deeply concerned about what Chris has found, he has absolutely, unequivocally not found proof of Earth spin. Because seeing 15 degrees in a gyroscope does not prove anything. It's not a scientifically valid test of anything. It doesn't prove anything. If it did conclusively prove something, there wouldn't be one camp saying it's ether turn and one camp saying it's Earth spin, because it would be conclusive. You wouldn't have two options. You'd have one option, which would be
proven in 1890.
Shut your stupid mouth. You'd have one option that would be validated or invalidated by the experiment. But unfortunately, it's not an experiment. It's just a bloody gyroscope. Okay? So anyone deeply concerned about Chris going to the ball because of this quasi-experiment, fear not. It is nothing more than affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy and does not prove Earth turn. Okay.
And I think it's false. It is completely false. And I don't think that Chris actually did the physical thing himself. Otherwise, he would have made a video about that. He hasn't. I haven't seen anything. I think he just saw a bunch of videos and he forwarded that. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. I think it's just an excuse for him to get out, and he just used this as a timed escape pod, as it were, just to get out. And I don't think it gives any weight to the actual experiment, so-called experiment. And I'd like to see more of these experiments, more elaborate detail within them, because from what I've seen so far, it is complete nonsense.
In his words, Earth is neither flat nor stationary.
Sorry, do you take Chris's words as gospel proof of a spinning ball Earth?
No.
So who cares?
Oh, we're talking about Chris Monk, and I'm using his words.
Yeah. And I've just asked if those words mean anything, and you've said no.
Oh,
So now
there's
you're
a-
reaffirming
there's
that
an
you're using his
element,
words. So do I need to just go around in circles and ask you again, do his words mean to you that it's spinning? No. So what's your point?
But they meant something to you when he was a flat earther.
No, I used his models to investigate what land we were seeing in the northern part of Ireland. That's what I did. That was what he was useful for, and I thanked him.
And he made a great image for me for my rectangular looping Earth as well.
It does also say flat earth fails to make predictions and fails to be in agreement with no measurements.
Nope.
Well, it does because you don't have a model. So.
Sorry,
Yeah,
we
I do
don't
have
need
a
a model. What
Say
do you need a
again, sorry,
model
Nathan?
for? What do you need a model for? Because when we see a building, you guys say your model says it shouldn't be there. I just see buildings and go building. You guys see it and go, oh, no, that's an observed phenomena. Our model says that building shouldn't be there. This is all farcical nonsense. We don't need a model to smash the living daylights out of your assertion that buildings we see shouldn't really be there because your model says so. That's just nonsense. Number one, your model doesn't work. Number two, we don't need a model to open our bloody eyes and look at buildings we see.
Yeah, your model is a Frankenstein monster, and it's rotting at the seams, falling apart.
Well, it's been built up over eons and scientific
Yeah,
discovery.
and it's a mess. It's a Frankenstein model, and it's rotting at the seams.
Again, that's just your opinion, Armin.
No, that's our findings. That's what happens when you actually put a looking glass over it and study it.
Yeah, but that's opinion on your...
No, that's what happens when you actually look into it, and that's what you find.
Well, okay.
That's why we do housekeeping every start of the show.
Doesn't mean much, though, does
Yeah,
it?
it means everything.
Maybe to you.
Yeah, no, that is what the entire globe foundations are based upon these myths and upon these physical impossibilities.
Well, like the impossibility of the sun moving.
A vacuum next to a pressurized system.
Well, that's explained, but you don't take the...
No, it's explained, but it doesn't work. It's a false explanation. It cannot be demonstrated, ever. In no circumstance, no manner of force being applied, it cannot be demonstrated. It's absolute ridiculous myth.
Again, that's your opinion, Armin.
No, it is impossible. It has not been demonstrated. It has been proven by no one, ever. Not even theoretically, that a vacuum can exist next to a pressurized system.
What did he say about it then? What did
they
scientists
say?
about it?
Who cares what
Like,
they say? Sorry, why is it you're asking him what they say?
Well, I want to see his understanding of what the scientists say. That explains
Science doesn't say anything. Science is not the words of man. Science is a formulated hypothesis that is validated or invalidated by scientific experimentation. That is science. Who cares what science says?
Yeah, I wasn't talking about what scientists say. I was talking about what has been proven, what has been actually done physically.
And I was just asking Arwin if you understood what is used to explain.
Yeah, I know the freaking explanation, and it's ridiculous.
What is
You
that?
can't do that. It doesn't work.
And
You
what is
can't
the
emulate it. You
explanation,
can't
Arwin?
miniaturize it and then basically emulate the gravity force somehow by just applying a centrifuge or whatever. You can't have a vacuum next to a non-vacuum without a barrier. It is physically impossible no matter what you do, no matter the amount of forces you apply. It is physically impossible.
No, it isn't.
Oh, really? Let's see it. Hold on.
that all
Jimmy,
you've got to
hold
say?
on. Jimmy,
Well,
show
I
me.
asked a question about if Arwin understood what the explanation was for it, and he have not received said explanation.
Yeah, gravity explains everything. You can't prove it. You can't emulate it. You can't show physical proof of a vacuum next to a non-vacuum without a barrier. That's it. So go and make that proof. You want to believe it so much.
Well, have you got proof of a pressurized system? You've asserted, Jimmy, that it is absolutely possible.
But I got proof, not on me, no.
So why are you asserting it? Back to this lies again, like you being a
No,
captain
I didn't.
and
All I
having
said
used a
was
P900. So you've used a P900 and they've captained ships, and now more lies, right?
That's a lie. I never said I captained ships there.
Yeah, you alluded to it when asked if you specifically had ever navigated a ship. Yeah, you said yes at the end of a load of babble.
Big boats.
Yeah, you said yes. You confirmed at the end of a load of babble about you going on boats. Yeah, you
I
alluded.
never said I was captain, which therefore is a lie there, Nathan.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're a weasel, like all globeheads. You're just a weasel.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah, it is
clarifying
not
that
okay.
statement.
You're a weasel. Right, we've asked you to back up your assertion that it is possible to show a pressurised system next to a vacuum. Arwen's handed you your own ass, and then you've just said it is possible. So show us.
Well, first, Owen should answer my question.
Don't answer. Don't turn this around. Right, just show
My
us.
question came 5 minutes ago.
What was your question? What was your question?
What is the explanation used to explain why you have the, what do you call it, vacuum and the pressurized system?
Yeah,
No, that's our question to you, you dingbat. Right? Show us demonstrations of exactly that.
Yes,
Don't just
it is
ask us
impossible
what the current
to-
explanation is for your religious belief that we have this. You tell us what justifies your belief
I'm
that you
not
have
a
it.
scientist, Nathan. I'm not a scientist.
Oh, right. Well, then just believe what people tell you, moron. Okay? Science isn't being something with a letter after your name. Science is the application of the scientific method. Anybody can be a quote-unquote scientist. You just have to apply that method. Okay?
Nathan, can I? Because the thing about it is, it's not even theoretically possible, and I can explain this to him.
Please do.
He's probably not going to get it, but I want to try, because you see, the whole gravity thing, it is supposedly a force, right? It's a force pulling stuff towards the center of the biggest mass, correct?
We're going to get trolled. Oh, I was looking forward to Arwen's theoretical response.
Right. So... hooray.
Yeah, if we could get a few people from the audience to join, just so we don't get trolled to all hell. Someone's decided they don't want to hear Arwen.
Okay, yeah, I can do it in parts.
Massive interruption here.
Yeah.
Childlike.
Hello, Ian. Can you hear us?
Ian, thanks.
Hello.
Need two more.
I think
Yeah,
he's
he's
just
there.
filling a spot.
Hello.
It's the same guy as
Hello.
yesterday.
Are they top up really small?
Hello, CGI Ranty. Are you a good guy or a bad guy?
Can you say hello, CGI Ranty?
I think he's just filling a spot.
we got two ranties.
How many people we got? I could do with one more.
Yeah, one more.
Sorry for the dead air now and earlier. I was trying to get Anthony on to the call, and when I tried to call him, hey Jose, I think that's it.
We got it.
We're full.
Yes. Okay, we got a full
Excellent.
panel.
Thank
Right.
Don't
So
block
thanks,
me. No, you're good. Thanks for joining, CGI Ranty. Thanks, Sean. Thanks. Who was the other guy? Ian. Thank you very
Ian.
much. Right,
No
normal
problem.
conversation can resume.
Right. So yes, Jimmy, to get back to you, what the scientists, the globe scientists, so-called, say is that a vacuum can exist next to a pressurized system because of gravity. Well, let me explain to you about gravity, the theoretical gravity that is supposedly mass being attracted by other mass. That is, it is a force. It is a force that applies to all matter with mass, and it pulls things. So, gas, like the atmosphere and water and all that is being held on this earth, is supposedly being held there by gravity. Well, the thing is, the pressure, the automatic redistribution of pressure is also considered a force, a very strong force. So the thing is that it is so strong that you can demonstrate this on your own. That if you have a tank and you withdraw the air from it, and you open the hole, it can have incredible impact. Everything will immediately be sucked into that, no matter how big that space is. Or it is a very powerful force. It is so powerful it will ignore any subtle motion forces in relation. So no matter what, if you put it in a centrifuge, if you're going to put it in an accelerating car, no matter what you do with it, pressure is much more powerful than any other type of motion or acceleration based forces, which gravity is. That is what it officially is, according to the post-mortem Newton theory, as it were, that was published after his death, against his will, by the way. So the thing about it is, it can be done. Like, gravity is a force that pulls things, but so is gases trying to find an equilibrium in the total container that it is in. So it just can't work. They can explain, gravity keeps it there, but it can't work because officially, the further away from the Earth's core you are, the less strong the gravity becomes. While at the same time, pressure trying to redistribute itself in an equilibrium within the full space of the tanker or the containment it can divide itself in does not decrease. It does not. So it can't work. It can never work. It's a science fiction setup that is physically impossible. You can't even model it out. They leave that part out. When they make CGI, let me finish. When they make CGI Earths and everything, they can make it look really nice. But when they actually start to apply pressure physics, it can never, ever work. Ever.
Amen.
It just doesn't work.
Amen.
Why is
Makes perfect sense.
It just doesn't work. It can't work. It's physically impossible.
So Arwen's now explained his. Now for your proof. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's just there's no scientific proof for it.
But isn't
it is not even theoretically possible. It's that ludicrous.
Okay, Arwen, thanks.
It is fantasy.
Isn't because gravity is stronger towards the Earth itself, and as it goes away, it's a gradient, and the gravity's power is less and less, and then it just fades off into space over distance.
Indeed. While the need for pressure to redistribute itself does not decrease.
The Earth is the container.
No. It's open. It's supposed to be open.
The Earth is the container. Now that's hilarious.
The Earth is
explain that.
Don't need to. So
the Earth is a container.
Sorry, hold on. Let's just get clarity on that. So you're saying the Earth is a lid?
What I was saying was, as gravity lessens as you go further up away from the Earth, the molecules together, they get weaker and weaker and then fade off into what is now known as space. That's
right. So at the top, you're saying there's very low pressure, right? At the top,
and gravity is weakened.
Right. So there's low pressure at the top, but pressure requires a container, something to press against.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, right. What does PSI stand for?
Public service information.
So are you an idiot?
I'm just pulling your chain, mate.
What does PSI stand for?
Don't know.
Look it up.
Pounds per square
inch.
inch.
Don't tell him.
There you go. That
You
one.
want to look it up?
I don't know how we even
Hold
zoom
on,
it.
guys. Hold on.
Look.
Hold on. What does PSI stand for?
What the last guy said.
Well, I want to hear you say it, dingbat.
I don't want to say it.
Why?
Why not?
Let's just wait. I don't mind how long this pauses, Jimmy, while you tell us what PSI stands for.
He's just proving he's a troll.
Yeah, it's just
I'm not
oh,
sure.
no, it's all right. We can have a long silence. Everyone just shut up while Jimmy either sits in silence, demonstrating his stupidity, or Google searches it. Can you pop yourself on rant, Mark? Rant. Can you pop yourself on mute, please, Mark? Or whoever's got a kid in the background.
Yeah, that was Mark.
Take your time, Jimmy.
Okay.
What does PSI stand for?
Public service information.
No, we're talking about pressure, aren't we? So
Yeah.
what would it mean in terms of that?
Pounds per square inch.
A square inch of what?
Other inches.
Sorry, a square inch of what? So you said that it's pressing against what? The vacuum of space and its lower pressure system? So it's pressing on that. That's what you get per square inch value from, is it? Sorry, I just rephrased the question, right? What is the inch of that it's pressing on? It's measured in terms of what it presses on per square inch. So what inch is it pressing on up there?
All of them.
Sorry, what exactly is it pressing on? Just take your time, Jimmy.
Okay.
Do you need me to repeat the question? Do you need me to repeat the
This is
question?
absolutely mind-boggling.
Hold on, Travis. Do you need me to repeat the question,
No,
Jimmy? I don't mind there being a protracted silence while Jimmy is asked the same question. I'll assume he didn't hear. Square inch of what? What's it pressing on, Jimmy?
Let's show it again.
You know what this is like, right? It's like the guy
Travis,
getting caught
right?
out
Travis.
I'm not being caught out. I've said I'm not a scientist. I'm not a scientist. I'm just saying
I don't want a response to Travis. Travis, please, for the love of God, don't interrupt the silence.
I can't help it.
Right, what you're responding to is the pressure that's on Jimmy. Don't mistake the pressure that's on Jimmy with pressure that you need to relieve. Arwen's already been guilty of it. I'll ask Jimmy the question again so he doesn't respond quickly to your question. Jimmy, what per inch is it pressing on up in space, mate? Take your time.
Okay. Thank you.
I don't think he's intending to actually answer
Arwen,
the
shut
question.
up. I don't care if we round out this show with the next 10 minutes of Jimmy being incapable of telling me the answer, because he's claiming we have a pressurised system next to a vacuum, measured in pounds per square inch. Now we've got to the measurement, and I want to know per square inch of what, and he's literally got nothing. I'd like the audience to hear how little he's got to say when asked per square inch of what. Take your time, Jimmy.
Atmospheric pressure decreases the height above the surface of a planet because there is less total mass in the atmosphere above a reference point at the height of the reference point increases. Only the weight of the mass above the reference point contributes to the pressure at the reference height. For example, in Earth's atmosphere, the pressure height of 5.5 kilometers is only 50% of the surface pressure. This means that only that one half the mass in our atmosphere is above 5.5 kilometers altitude, and one half below that altitude. At a height of approximately 16 kilometers in our atmosphere, the pressure is about 10% of the surface pressure. Therefore, only 10% of the mass in our atmosphere can be found more than 16 kilometers above the surface.
And where'd you get the pressure from? Sorry, God's sake. Where did you get the pressure from? You said there's pressure up there, so it's pressing on something. Back to my original question after your word salad. What's it pressing on? Square inch. Excuse me, I haven't finished. I let you talk. There was a long protracted silence. You don't need to talk over me because you haven't answered my question. You mentioned the word pressure on multiple occasions during your word salad. I'd like to know what it's pressing on per square inch of what up there. Take your time. You seem to have gone quiet, Jimmy. You had a lot of words to say a second ago. What's going on?
I don't want to answer that question because I'm not quite sure. But as
sorry,
I said, I'm not
sorry, that is an answer. Sorry, did you just say you're not quite sure? Is that I don't know what it's pressing on?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure now. So I don't want to answer.
So in answer to the original question about a pressurized system next to a vacuum, after a lot of word salad, you've got no idea how that works and cannot demonstrate it. You're basically just making an assertion based on what science has said, what people have said, and some Wikipedia crap that you've parroted that doesn't tell you the answer to the question. Pressing on what? You still don't know. Why would that be after you've gone and researched it and there's been lots of protracted silences where you tap your keyboard and look something up? I
just typed in this thing into the Google box and it came up with that. And that's
Why didn't it give you the answer to my question about where that pressure comes from? What's it pressing on? It hasn't answered my question though, has it?
I haven't answered your question, I've said.
No, the search you did, that's not your words, Dumbo. That's a search you did. That didn't answer my question either. So I'll ask it again. Again, I don't mind if there's another protracted silence. Where are you getting the pressure from?
Why are you wasting your time, Nick?
Oh, this is a waste of time, is it? Establishing your entire paradigm. You think the space, do you think the space is real? Do you think the satellites and shuttles and things in space?
Yeah,
do you think that?
I do think satellites is real, yeah.
Right, well, this crap's all over your entire paradigm, mate, because the very medium that you think all those things are in is based on this. Having a pressurized system next to a vacuum of space. And when it comes down to the nitty-gritty and word salad of you telling us what you think proves it, it proves nothing. It doesn't tell us where we get the pressure from. It doesn't tell us what the per square inch of is. It's just word salad. And when we get you to actually tie down what it proves, it's nothing. You still don't know. You just accept what people tell you. So you are told there is space. And even though you cannot show, demonstrate, or even conceptualize a pressurized system next to a vacuum, you still believe it.
Oh, there's more intelligent people out there that understand it than I do, yeah.
Oh, really? Well, then you are completely useless in this debate because you're essentially just trusting the words of men. You have no opinion of your own other than what Wiki spouts. You're a Wiki warrior, and basically that, as far as I'm concerned, is useless to a debate. So you can Wiki stuff. Well done.
No, you asked me if I believe in what space is, if I believe in space is real.
And you told me what Wiki believes and what Wiki told you. That's not your belief. That's what Wiki told you.
What do you think space is then, Nathan?
Yeah, you believe what Wiki tells you. I don't care about your questions. Your questions to me are now irrelevant because unless it matches the opinion of Wiki, it won't matter what I say. Because if Wiki doesn't say it, you don't care because you can't parrot it, as demonstrated when I asked what the pressure was from. What's it pressing on? Give me 10 minutes of silence and I'll look it up on Wiki and tell you, even though I don't recognise whilst reading the very words that I'm parroting, that it doesn't answer the question.
As I said, Nathan.
Yeah, as I said, you're thick. You're stupid. And I don't want to hear any more questions from you.
You're doing what you accuse me of doing, of talking over you. I'm trying to...
Yeah, I'll do it as I like. This is my show. If I want to talk over you, I absolutely will. Yeah, I'll have the last word. I'll point out how stupid you are. Point out that when I ask you what it's pressing on, you've literally got nothing but silence and parroting Wiki that doesn't answer the answer. Doesn't answer the question. So you haven't answered my question. Do you need more time?
No, as I said, my answer was, I don't know.
So you don't know about the medium you believe in. You just don't know whether or not space is real then. Because that's what this is proving or disproving. If you can have a pressurized system next to a vacuum, that's the world you believe in, you moron.
I'm just saying there's an...
You're just stuttering now, yeah? You believe in space, even though there's no backup for it. You haven't got a speech impediment. You're just being absolutely obliterated. You cannot prove the very medium of your belief. You're just a religious zealot. You believe space because the priest told you.
No, there's an explanation.
Yeah, you're stuttering because you're on the ropes. A priest of science told you space is real. You saw it on TV and read it in Wiki and believe it. So you're a moron that can parrot stuff that you've been told.
No.
No. Hand wave dismissal. No, I'm not a parrot. Even though earlier on this show you told me that more intelligent people than yourself understand this. Oh my God.
And more intelligent people than you guys understand it.
Oh, really? I don't care what other people think. I have my own thought processes, my own beliefs, and my own opinions. You have the words of Wiki and what your priest tells you. You have no idea whether or not you can have a vacuum of space next to a pressurised system. Wiki doesn't give you the answer. That's why I'm stoving your head in, mate. That's why you're stuttering.
15th time I've said it wasn't from Wikipedia.
Wherever it's from, Wikipedia is just a way of referencing something that you went away and read after huge protracted silences, interdispersed with people from my side trying to help you out to break the pressure of your idiocy not being able to give an answer. You still haven't given an answer. You have no justifiable reason to believe in space. It's just a belief because a priest told you.
So my question...
What I heard from what you read out loud, just glancing over it, reading it, not really understanding what you were saying, that was a piece of pseudoscience.
Your opinion on it?
Absolute fraud. Does not work with... It is a science fiction techno-babble explanation on how it is supposed to work. Because those are not pressure physics.
But this is your opinion.
No.
No, okay, okay.
No
Sorry, if you're going to disagree with that,
said.
hold on. I'm going to round out for a break shortly, Owen. Sorry to cut you off. Right, so he's saying it's pseudoscience. Do you think it's science?
Yeah.
Right. What's the hypothesis? Hold on. You think it's science because you believe it's science because you don't understand what science is. What? You think it's science because you don't understand what science is. Jimmy's gone on mute.
Yeah, he was being rang on the phone.
Wonderful. So
it's probably Rumpus telling him what to say next.
Tell him about this. Yeah, I think I might take that as an opportunity to round out and have a quick break. We'll give him a couple of seconds, see if he comes back off his phone call. Doesn't, we'll round
He's an expert in navigation as well.
Yeah, and P900s.
Yeah, I don't know why we even entertain him. It's just a waste of time.
Oh, it's so that he can say that we have gravity causing pressurized systems next to vacuums, and then he can go away and Google search it, read off the crap, and still not give us an answer to the question, what's it pressing on? That's useful for people to see. This dingbat and long protracted silences.
Yes, I suppose so, yeah. I understand what you're saying.
But yeah, just before we do round out though, and he's on the phone, it's palpable. I don't know whose show I was talking about this on, but when somebody like Jimmy is absolutely getting their head kicked in, which he is, he's got no proof of the very medium that he believes in other than what men say. So it is exactly as I describe. Priests tell him something, he accepts it because he can Google search it to verify it. That's his process of accepting this information, even though it doesn't add up and we've pointed out the flaws in it. But when that's being put to him, the pressure is felt by everyone on the panel. No one wants to sit in 20 seconds of silence and, you know, someone on the panel is going to go, I can't take it anymore. But, you know, better to just leave Jimmy to it. Let him fester. Let people hear 25 seconds, 30 seconds, 5 minutes. I'm more than happy. We do this show daily. So if there's dead air because Jimmy hasn't got a good answer, let there be dead air. Let him come back at the end and go, I just simply don't know. I've gone away and wikied it, but I still don't know. But I still believe in space because science told me. You know, just let him demonstrate how pathetic he really is. Anyway, any last words before I round out this particular part of the show? No, nothing but silence.
No.
Go on, Ranty.
No, nothing much. Just Alk, I hope you enjoyed your butty that I bought you.
Hello.
Hello, Jimmy.
How's it going, Nathan? Sorry about that.
It's a private joke.
That's okay. We've got a couple of minutes. Did you get us an answer? What's it pressing on then?
I didn't get the answer because I don't know. As I said, Nathan, to you.
But that's the basis of your understanding of space, mate. So do you still think there's satellites floating around a sphere Earth based on that non-understanding of what's going on in this regard, this flaw, this hole in your understanding?
I do believe in satellites. I do believe in ISS. I do believe in planets. I do believe in the sun. I do believe in this, yes.
Sorry, all of those things I can just look in a telescope and see. But your idea of those things are that they are in a specific medium called space, a vacuum. Yeah. Right.
So what do you think space is?
Don't ask me the question. I'm
Why not?
pointing out to you, Jimmy, while you talk over me, that the very medium you think these things rotate around Earth in, like the planets, you have a conception that they are in space, a vacuum, something that is next to the pressurized system that we breathe in. So, when it comes to actually confirming or denying whether or not that can happen at all, or whether or not it happens on Earth, you have nothing to account for the pressure next to the vacuum of space. So we have debunked the medium you believe in, Jimmy.
Have you now?
Yes. Yes. Did you not get that bit? Do you need me to explain it again in slightly more simple words?
Rather you didn't.
I would rather I did. Do you understand? But that's okay. Explain back to me how I feel we've debunked space.
How you believe you... let's say that again, sorry.
I want you to confirm that you understand what I have said to you about the very medium of space itself that you think the planets, the sun, all these things that I can look at with my own eyes, but you deem them to be in a certain...
That this, a vacuum can't exist without a lid or a container or something like that, and therefore there is no space, there's no satellites, there's no planets, there's no nothing.
Right. We know there's pressure here on Earth. Would you agree? We're breathing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Do we know, have you been to and confirmed that there's a vacuum?
No, I've not been to space.
Right. So we know one of them's true, don't we?
Right. So...
Right. So the very medium, let me say it again, the very medium that you think all these things reside in is that medium that we don't have proof of, you have not been to, and there's a big... Hold on, Jimmy. Taking you there slowly. There's a big hole in your logic, which is to say you can't have pressure unless it's pressing. So that's a big problem.
So what's the pressure? Would you ask the question again?
There is no question. Yeah, okay. I'm asserting something. We've debunked the medium that you think heliocentricity resides in, my friend.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Unless you have a response for the pressurized system next to the vacuum. This started with you being told that housekeeping defines what we do here. We've picked on pressurized system next to a vacuum, brought you to the point where it has a big hole in the reasoning and logic. They say we've got pressure up there. What's it pressing on? Oh, the vacuum of space, that much lower pressure system that... Yeah, I don't understand. That's what we've got from you. But you still believe in space, right? Because the priest told you.
Is it to do with the weight of the atmosphere?
Do you still believe in space because a priest told you?
Okay, so my perfectly
It's a question. It's a question. Do you still believe in space because, and only because, a man told you?
No, I can see
Oh,
it.
excellent. So we haven't got clarity. You haven't understood then. So let's start again. Let's take it even slower.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead, Travis.
Thank you. Okay, Jimmy, so you read us a metaphysical explanation. Okay.
Sorry, you cut out then. Sorry.
Excuse me?
Your voice cut out then. I couldn't hear what you said.
Okay. You read us a metaphysical explanation.
For theory, okay? You read to us what you think answers the question of a pressure gradient, right?
Okay.
You described how it moves from lower to higher. But again, we're bringing you back to not an explanation of pressure gradient, but of how there can be pressure without a container. My question to you is, do you understand our conundrum? How we are scratching our heads saying, how can you have a unicorn fart with no unicorn? I just want a simple, honest answer from you. Do you understand where we're coming from? Can you understand our question?
I do understand the question. I've
Okay.
got an answer talking about the weight of the atmosphere pressing against the Earth, and
Right. But
it gets
we don't
the. So you're saying
we don't have a problem understanding pressure gradient explanations. That's not our question. You still are not addressing Nathan's primary address, which is the container. So I guess I want you to, it's like what I was going to say. You've been caught out, like your lady has caught you out, and she says, where were you last night? And you stand there and you don't say anything. She's going to think you were with some other woman. If you don't say anything, and then she's going to say, do you understand why I don't trust you? Do you understand why I'm questioning where you were last night? And you just stand there. It just doesn't make sense. It's like when we talk to people like you, we just sit there and think, this is complete idiocy.
Not really. I've given you an explanation, but you guys don't.
No, you haven't. No, you haven't. You have not given us an explanation of a container. You have not.
And why do you need a container?
Sorry, because we have pressure. Pressure is something that presses. It's okay. Let's take him through. I don't mind keeping the show going a little bit longer before the break, just to explain to Jimmy. So, when I asked you what PSI stood for, yeah, did you understand the reasoning behind that question, Jimmy?
I now do.
You do. Can you explain to me the reasoning behind that question, please?
Because you like to go down a certain route and ask certain questions, and you will then bully the person into asking the same question when the person has given you a reasonable response.
I don't think I'm bullying you. I'm asking you what it's pressing against, and you don't have an...
Oh,
now you're talking over me. Don't bully me, please, Jimmy.
I'm fine.
I feel very threatened right now. You're talking over me. I feel quite threatened by you. Yeah? Don't do that game. It's just sad. Just because you're losing, don't accuse me of bullying you. I'm not bullying you. I'm pointing out that you have a preposterous, fallacious argument with a massive hole in it. That hole would be in the container, because you can't have pressure unless it's pressing on something per square inch. So when we ask you what it's pressing on up there, you don't seem to have an answer, Jimmy, but you don't seem to say that that's a problem. You tell us you've given us an explanation. So now I've given it you very slowly and calmly, not bullying you, just pointing out how rubbish your argument is. You tell me, is it not a problem that there's no real justifiable sense in saying that we have a vacuum next to a pressurized system? Or do you think that's perfectly reasonable because a priest told you so?
So, we have the weight of the atmosphere. Yeah?
No, it has to press on something, Jimmy. Up at the top, you have at the top, right?
Pressing on the Earth.
At the top, Jimmy, what's it pressing on? To have pressure to press on the stuff below it. What's it pressing on?
Of the atmosphere.
No, at the top, not at the bottom. Listen carefully to my question. At the top, where there is pressure, what is it pressing on? In specifically the upward direction, not the downward.
That's to do with gravity.
Oh, sorry, it's pressing on gravity, is it? Sorry, it's pressing on gravity.
As you go further away from the Earth, the gravity is weakened. Therefore...
Sorry, so as we go further away, it becomes less. So it would pull it less. So let me get this straight. So the attractive force of gravity is reduced up at the top, correct?
At least you got something right, Nathan. Try it yourself.
So it's less. So there's less pulling force on that pressure at the top. I don't understand how that keeps it from going into the vacuum of space. Should it not need something perhaps to press against to get the pressure? Does it not need things to press against at the top? You keep talking about the bottom. If we assume gravity, it's pulling from the bottom, and I'm trying to ask about the top. I don't get why you keep talking about the bottom.
Effects of gravity are weaker as you go into, and then therefore you go into space. At a certain
Pressure is not caused by gravity.
Right.
Pressure is caused by mass, basically pushing to find an equilibrium.
Right, pressing.
Are we talking about the atmosphere here?
Yeah, gases, everything.
Have you ever heard of the word entropy?
No, I haven't. Please.
Shout out to Cigar Face.
No worries. On that note of you not knowing what the word entropy is,
Have one line there, Nathan.
it's all right, Jimmy. No need to bully me. Don't bully me, Jimmy.
Nathan,
Don't bully me. I'm trying to talk and round out my show that I run, that I can do what I like on, like call you an idiot.
I'll bring it up for the next one then.
Yeah, you go and have a little look at what.
I found it.
Listen carefully, Jimmy. Stop bullying me. You Globers are all vicious monsters bullying me on this show. I don't like it at all. Yeah, Jimmy, just listen. Don't speak and bully people. It's not very nice. So, Jimmy, you go have a little look at entropy. Can you do that for me, like a good lad?
It's my homework.
Yeah, that's right, Jimmy. Homework for dumbos. Can you do it for me, Jimmy, like a good lad? Can you look up? Can you look up entropy?
You spell it for me.
Entropy? No,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do everything for you, you complete retard. And on that completely idiotic note, I'd like to say first and foremost a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of the debating panel for making this debate possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of the live audience for tuning in and hopefully sharing this debate. If you hated the show, you know exactly what to do. But if you like the show, maybe consider sharing it with a friend or subscribing if you have not done so already. I've been Nathan Oakley and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!